Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Alice Fong and welcome to my Healing Around the World project. Today I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing Dr. Patricia Diefenbach from Virginia, Fairfax, Virginia. And she is the president of the Virginia Association of Naturopathic Physicians. Please welcome Dr. Diefenbach. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you
It's
for
lovely
being
to be here.
Thank you.
And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to participate in your project.
Oh, thank you so much for being part of it. Great. So, Dr. Diefenbach, what got you into medicine?
Well, I wanted to be a traditional physician from a very early age. My journey did not necessarily take me down that route. I was educated in the United Kingdom, and basic sciences were not really part of the curriculum for women back then. So I was always trying to catch up on the chemistry and the physics, right even through my university career. But the British system was not terribly flexible, so I just sort of put it aside. And then when I met my husband, who was in the Air Force, he knew that I wanted to be a physician. So he said, well, let me know, if you want to go be a doctor, I'll make sure you get there. Well, he traveled a lot and I stayed home with the children. And so when they got to college, I was asked again, well, don't you want to be a physician? By that time, my own personal healing journey had taken me down every side road possible. I had received a few too many vaccinations in 1997. Coupled with a lot of stress. I was in a new country. I had grown up overseas all my life. And we didn't really have a support system in the state that we had moved to, because when you're with the Air Force, you have your units and there's a lot of support. But all of a sudden I was on my own. My husband was traveling. I had my kids. And anyway, I went the conventional route and it did not help me. I do know that it is necessary to have conventional medicine and conventional wisdom at many times, but there are often times where integrative, alternative remedies and protocols are helpful. So it took me, I woke up one day in chronic pain. I couldn't move. And from that day, it took me 10 years to figure out ways to undo the pain, explore alternative routes, therapies, myofascial release, diet change. I always had a healthy diet, but I had to have a restrictive diet then. And in any case, when my husband asked me this question when our children were in college, I said, well, I'm far too old to go to medical school. And he looked at me and he says, no, you're not. He said, I was 50 at the time. He said, don't tell me when I'm 80 you wished you had done it. He says, go do it now. So he was very supportive.
Wow.
He was my number one cheerleader.
That's wonderful.
So I looked into everything and checked out the naturopathic schools. I knew at that point that I would want to be a naturopathic physician because natural medicine was what helped me. And so I did all my prerequisites at Northern Virginia Community College, and one by one I checked them off. And at age 53, I went off to the University of Bridgeport College of Naturopathic School. Graduated in 2014. It was blood, sweat, and tears.
I'm sure, I know.
But I am very happy that I was able to complete the program. I did my licensing exams. I have a license for the District of Columbia and for Connecticut. I've kept both of them going, and I'm now practicing in Fairfax, and I'm seeing more and more patients coming.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. And what types of patients do you see typically?
I'm seeing a lot of patients that have gone to 10 or 12 different specialists and nobody can figure out what is going on. So I look at the whole health history. And actually for some patients, I even do a timeline. We get out a piece of paper and we have a visual timeline. If they bring labs, then I'll look at them and I'll make charts to see, okay, this lab was off, this was lab was off. And it's like being a detective, a medical detective. So People who sort of last resort, because we are out of pocket expense. There's no insurance coverage. But they're grateful, and I start with simple things. Initially, I used to have complex, comprehensive plans, and it was too much for them. So we do 2-3 things at a time, sometimes only one thing. And the most important thing that I do with each patient that comes in the door is I meet them where they're at. You have to make that connection and meet them where they're at, because if you don't, then the healing can't take place. So if you make that connection, that's where the healing starts.
Absolutely. Great. And what types of conditions
I see a lot of gastrointestinal primarily. Some type 2 diabetes, a lot of gastroesophageal reflux.
Oh, yes.
A lot. A lot of people on proton pump inhibitors, but mostly GI. And a lot of people who are very, very sensitive to the environment as well. So that translates into gut health as well.
And what do you do for these people with digestive problems?
Well, the first thing for most of them, actually, we do an elimination diet.
Oh, yes.
You know, some of them have to have black and white. They want sensitivity testing. But not many of them, actually. Most of them have come with hundreds of labs, and they're tired of the testing. So we do the diet elimination, and invariably they will be sensitive to dairy and gluten. So they cut those out. So we cut those out the first thing. Exercise, probiotics, sometimes microbiome. I don't have one protocol for 2 patients with the same condition. It is really biochemical individuality, and it's an individualized plan the whole way.
Of course.
So I do establish the root cause, and then we build up from there, one step at a time. But it's mostly cleaning up the gut. That, and I will say stress, reduction of stress levels. We're in a high stress area. So I'm actually going around doing presentations on how stress affects the body, and people are amazed because they have no idea.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Yes. So if you could offer a piece of advice to someone, or just anyone in the world that needs to improve their health, whether they have limited means or not, what might that be?
I think the most important thing to do for health is have positive thinking, positive thought patterns. The negativity, the mind is so connected to the body. And, you know, I think the studies are showing that 20 minutes of positive thinking a day is actually increasing the secretory IgA.
That's amazing. Wow.
And the microbiome as a result. And also, if you have no access, eat lots and lots of fruits and vegetables with the strong, colorful pigmentations. A more vegetable-based diet is immune boosting and disease preventative. And I'm not saying cut out meats, but also when you are eating meats, to look at the source of the meat supply. Make sure it's pasture fed, not free range. Organic's a whole nother kettle of fish. But try and know where your food is coming from, and think, no matter how bad your circumstances are, find 5 things every day that you can be grateful for and focus on that.
Wow, that is such great advice. Thank you so much for being part of my project.
You're very welcome. It's
a
pleasure.
Great. Thanks everyone for watching, and please share this video and future videos with everyone you know. Okay.